In one of the most tense regions on the entire planet, the tone of the conversation is shifting, and shifting dramatically. We're seeing some really public, really direct statements from India's top military leaders, and they're sending a crystal clear and, frankly, aggressive message to Pakistan. It looks like a major change in strategy, so today, we're going to break down this new red line.
Okay, let's just dive right into the most powerful statement, because this is not your usual diplomatic speak. This is a blunt, no-holds-barred warning coming straight from the head of the Indian Army, General Openduy. The message here is incredibly simple. The old rules of engagement, they might not apply anymore.
And it's not like we're just reading between the lines here. The Army chief spelled this out himself. He referenced past conflicts, talking about a time of restraint, but then he warned that that approach is completely off the table now. This is a very, very deliberate signal that any future provocations are going to be met with a totally different and probably much more severe response.
So you have to ask, right? Where's all this bold talk, this new confidence coming from? Well, these warnings are not happening in a vacuum. They're built on the military's own assessment of a previous operation, and for the first time ever, specific details of the damage they claim to have inflicted are being made public.
And this right here, this is the key to understanding that confidence. For the first time, India's Air Chief Marshal A.P. Singh gave a detailed public breakdown of the damage India says it inflicted during a recent major air operation. So you see, this isn't just a threat about the future, it's them putting their cards on the table about what they see as a major past success.
And the air chief, he did not hold back. He described a really comprehensive attack that targeted the very core of Pakistan's air defense network. We're talking about the whole shebang, from airfields and radars all the way to the command centers that coordinate everything.
Let's just quickly run through the numbers they're putting out there. First on the list, 4 separate radar installations. Then, they're claiming they damaged aircraft hangars at 3 different air bases. And this is the big one, the real headline grabber. The unclaimed destruction of 4 to 5 fighter aircraft while they were still on the ground. These were likely F-16s, which, as you know, are a cornerstone of the Pakistani Air Force. But this whole reveal wasn't just about listing off a bunch of damages. The air chief actually framed the entire operation as a kind of textbook example of modern warfare. A lesson, he says, that maybe the rest of the world should pay attention to. He laid out this really clear 3-step doctrine. First, you start with a well-defined goal. Second, you achieve it fast. And third, once your objectives are met, you stop. He was clearly contrasting this with other long, drawn-out conflicts we see around the world, basically presenting India's approach as more decisive and efficient.
So what was the ultimate goal of a strategy like this? According to the air chief, it was all about applying so much pressure so quickly that the other side would be forced to be the one to ask for an end to the fighting.
Now, it is absolutely critical to understand this next part. This entire story from the Indian Air Force stands in direct, complete opposition to the version of events told by Pakistan. I mean, on one of the biggest stages in the world, the UN General Assembly, Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif made a very different claim, that his country's forces had actually shot down 7 Indian jets during the fighting.
So, how did the Indian air chief respond to that claim? Well, with this pretty mocking dismissal. He essentially told Islamabad to go ahead and believe their own story, sarcastically suggesting they should just plan for India having fewer planes in the next fight.
Now, this new aggressive posture isn't just backed by words. It's also supported by claims of new military technology that, they say, could change the entire calculus on the battlefield. A key piece of this puzzle is India's new long-range surface-to-air missile systems. The air chief claims these weapons have completely turned the table, essentially allowing them to create a no-fly zone deep inside enemy territory, all while firing from their own side of the border. And to really drive this new capability home, the air chief made a record-breaking claim that India achieved the longest SAM kill in history by taking out a target from over 300 kilometers away. That is an incredible distance.
And they are not stopping there. The Air Force is already planning its next moves, stating a need for more advanced air defense systems like the S-400, which is famous for creating these multi-layered, almost impenetrable air defense bubbles, and they're also evaluating new fighter jets like the French Rafale and the Russian Su-57.
So the crucial thing here is to put all these pieces together. What does this combination of harsh warnings,
these newly revealed damage reports, and all this technological flexing. What does it all really add up to?
What we're watching is a classic, textbook example of deterrence. Every single statement, every statistic they release, every technological boast, it's all a piece of strategic communication. It's like a high-stakes conversation being held through press conferences and military parades, where the main goal is to make the other side think twice.
And this really highlights the incredible tightrope these nations are walking. Projecting strength is the whole point of deterrence, but every public threat, every new claim, it also raises the stakes and the risk of a miscalculation. And that leaves us with a critical question. In a region this volatile, how do you prevent a war without accidentally starting one?